All right, Steeler fans, it is Wednesday. That means it's time to go behind enemy lines. This week, I have Nate from Circling the Wagons Podcast joining me to talk all things Buffalo Bills. What's up, Nate? How are you?
Good, Jeff. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. This is a very intriguing game coming up this Sunday at Acrisure Stadium. There's a lot of implications here that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. Pertains to if the Steelers would win, they'd be tied, they have a tiebreaker. This AFC is a jumbled mess. The Buffalo Bills are coming off that Thursday night loss to Houston. What is the fan base thinking right now with this team? I know that their general consensus heading into Week 13.
The general consensus, it's just, yeah.
You guys too.
It's so funny, you to be 7-4 is not the worst thing in the world by far, but when your MVP quarterback just looks lost out there, and you look at the offense as a whole, and not a whole lot of pieces have changed from last year to this year. The offensive line is intact. Almost all the wide receivers are still there from last season. The running back group is still the same. And Josh Allen just, he's just taking sack after sack. He's forcing balls. He's creating turnovers. The whole team is on the offense. And you're just wondering what's wrong. Like, who's to blame for this? Why are we regressing that on it? But essentially, we're just kind of we're not sure what we think. This game's going to tell a lot. A lot of people want the Bills to fire their offensive coordinator. A win could help, obviously, but if we get another loss, people will ask for heads to roll. And I don't know if that'll happen, but it's the pounding of the table is going to get dramatically louder.
So let's go back to Josh Allen for a second. Obviously, most valuable player last year, and he is someone that he's one of the top at his position in the NFL. And you just said it. He's not looking like his normal self. Is there something that you see that just seems off?
Yeah, a lot of people want to blame the weapons. They want to blame the play calling, which, don't get me wrong, like those are two huge culprits. But I think it's very real. It's a very realistic standpoint that that Josh Allen is regressed a little bit this season from last season. I don't think it was something that you could continue on with that pace of not taking sacks, not turning the ball over, and having a very good, effective season and efficient. I think what it comes down to is I think he's not seeing the game and his receivers the way that he did last season. He's not seeing guys that are blatantly open when they are. He's not seeing the field the way that he used to. He's not seeing blitzes and pressure the way that he used to. We're used to seeing Josh Allen, getting pressure. That's not new. Even last season when he took a league low amount of sacks, part of that obviously had to do with his good offensive line, but a good deal of that was just his ability to evade the pass rush. And when he did evade the pass rush, he became a weapon with his legs. That's one of the things Josh is known for besides his, rocket of an arm. But the problem is this season, he's not getting those runs. When he is forced to move within the pocket, he is getting taken down. And I don't know if that's age. He's about to turn 30, or teams are just protecting, the line of scrimmage that much better, but he does not break off those 20, 30-yard gains that he has in years past. This is the first season where we've seen him take a big step back in that respect. So you have, issues turning the ball over, issues not seeing guys open, and then issues being able to run the ball. He does deserve some of that blame. Now, does he deserve most of it? Absolutely not. There's lots of things that led to these issues, but Josh in general just has taken a step back this season. So a step back for Josh Allen. Maybe he's a top 10 quarterback instead of a top 5 quarterback, but still issues. If this is your season to make it over the hump, issues like this isn't going to help you get there.
No. Well, and even though he might be having his own issues, and you can talk about weapons at his disposal and all that. I know you all just picked up Brandon Cooks off waivers. Not that he'll probably play on Sunday, but you are running the ball very, very well, and it's the top-rated run offense. What's going right there? Because for everything that's going wrong in the other area, it's not like you all are just some putrid offense. You are running the ball very well. James Cook is having one hell of a season. Talk a little bit about the running game.
So with the run game, the offensive line I mentioned, it is a good offensive line, and they've definitely taken it to the next level when it comes to blocking for James Cook. A few weeks ago when the Bills played the Bucs, I believe it was the average yards before contact against the Bucs when they scored 44 points was something like 5 yards before contact, which is insane for a running back to get. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he had over 100, and I think he might have had over 200 total yards in that game. So, the offensive line is doing a good job. And then James Cook in general, and I'll admit that, like, I was one of the guys that said, don't pay James Cook. I don't know how you feel, Jeff, about running backs. I mean, the Steelers are known for putting out tremendous running backs and usually not paying them.
Yep.
But I'm not definitely pay your running back. I was thinking it was more the offensive line than James Cook, but I mean, he's earning every single penny. He is the MVP of this offense as of now. It is not Josh Allen, in my opinion. It's James Cook, and he's taken his game to a whole new level. And he's the most consistent player on the offense as of right now, with just the way his patience in seeing the holes, his ability that when he gets around the corner or he hits the hole, how he can take it to the next level and basically outrun almost all the secondary. It's just a level that we haven't had as Bills fans since LaShawn McCoy when he first got here, or before that, maybe Thurman. I mean, it's been a while. So no, it's good to see. And that's one of the reasons why, it's the offensive line combined with James Cook just taking his game to a whole new level.
And so you kind of have these two sides of this docket. On the offensive side, the passing game, which is struggling a little bit, but the running game is very strong. You go to the defensive side, the statistics bear almost the same exact thing, except flipped. The Bills' pass defense is tremendous. The run defense is, I don't know if they're the worst in the league, but they're one of the worst in the league. Let's start with the pass defense. What are they doing well to take away the opposition's aerial attack?
Well, the best thing that the pass defense is doing is not being able to stop the run. So then teams don't have to pass to them. I mean, it's like the simplest, type of offense in the book is to just run it. Why would you ever pass the ball if you didn't need to, right? I mean, why would you potentially throw up an interception? So it's, I believe it's not so much the pass defense that's doing well, because they do have some good pieces in the secondary. I mean, Christian Benford has always been pretty good. He's taken a step back this season. I mean, the defense in general, the players that you could rely on for the Buffalo Bills defense have taken a step back. Christian Benford, who was, a top 10 corner potentially on the outside, he got paid this offseason, taking a step back. Terrell Bernard, their middle linebacker, has been banged up. He's probably going to be out this next game. He's taken a step back. Maxwell Hairston, he just came back from IR, their rookie first-round pick, and he's looked good in spots. He's definitely not at that level, though, as a lockdown corner that you'd like to have in the NFL. Cole Bishop has finally started to step up as safety, but he's still not that, ball hawking free safety that you want and need. And then we have Jordan Poyer, the 12-year veteran or whatever he is back there too. So it's not so much that the secondary is good, because they have moments for sure, and they're not awful. Don't get me wrong, but the run defense is just hasn't been built to stop the run. And this has to go with, so Jeff, real quick, if I were to give you like an overview of why the Bills aren't doing well,
Sure.
in my opinion, just in general, I think it has to do with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, and his predictive play calling. The fact that defenses, I think there are a lot of good defenses the Bills have played, but every defense feels like it's the 85 Bears when they play against the Bills. Because if you ever played Madden or not Madden on Nintendo, Tecmo Bowl, and you call the same player, the computer calls the same play as you, they just take you down the backfield, right?
Exactly.
It feels like that's how Joe Brady calls the offense. And at times he does okay, especially with the run game. He'd be a great run game coordinator for any offense, but he's been so predictive predictable in the passing game that I mean, Chris Collinsworth is calling it out, and it's like, if Chris Collinsworth knows what's coming next, then the defensive coordinator definitely knows. So I put him in most to blame, and then the second most goes a lot on Brandon Beane, and this leads to the defense I was mentioning earlier, because he's always mentioned, like, I don't want to put in a one tech defensive tackle, a big run stuffer, a big 330, 340 pound guy, because those guys are easy to find in the middle rounds. Like, we'll just take, the pass rushers, the single gap, three technique guys. Like, we'll take those guys, and earlier in the rounds. But the problem is they never draft the one tech guys. They never do. They just take the three tech guys and hope that they can just flip them into the one tech run stuffing, two gapping role. And they just can't do it. So then you have these guys that just run down your throat season in and season out. And the Bills have spent so much draft capital on the defensive line, on whether it's the edge rushers or defensive tackles in free agency and the draft. And they have some good pieces, don't get me wrong. But I mean, what good is a penetrating three tech defensive tackle if they never get a chance to rush the passer because they get run all over, right? So, like, it's a fundamental flaw in his way of building a roster. And there's been things going around on social media of the Rams, right? The Rams are the best team in the NFC right now, right? And there's a quote from Brandon Beane after the Rams won the Super Bowl, and they didn't have a lot of salary cap, and they didn't have a lot of draft picks because they traded so many. He's like, oh, I don't want to be in a situation like the Rams where, you give up your future. It's just like, well, just 3 years later, they're the best team in the NFC and they have a Super Bowl. What the hell do you have to show for it? Right. So I put Brandon Beane very close up there with his roster management, him not putting in the right personnel for these, for this defense. So I think that's one of the reasons why. And plus their linebackers are older. Terrell Bernard isn't as old, but Matt Milano's 32, 30, 31, 32, and he's in the last year of his contract. He's been banged up. This defense as a whole, besides the roster issues and personnel issues, they're just banged up. I mean, they've had at least 4 or 5 starters and at least 4 or 5 second stringers go on IR this season, at least. So they're missing a lot of guys. Michael Hoyt was a huge key to their pass rush after his 6-game suspension. And then a game and a half in, he went on IR for an Achilles tear, right? So the Bills have just been banged up, bad personnel management. But again, like that's one thing. The Bills should have beaten the Texans last week. They should have been able to score more than 13 points against the Texans. The Texans have a great defense. You have the MVP. You should be able to score more than 13 points. So as much as the defense gets some of the blame, which they're not great. I never expected them to be great, even though they still give away so much money to their defensive line. They trade so much, they trade for players and they give away so many draft assets to this. 7 out of the 9 draft picks this last season, or 6 out of the 9 were defensive picks. And what do they have to show for it? Nothing. So, and Brandon Beane was, I'm sure you saw the viral thing of him going on the local radio station, not cursing out the host, but kind of like, you guys have been bitching about wide receivers, blah, blah, blah. He's like, we had the MVP last year. And now he looks like an idiot. Now he looks very dumb for saying that. You just signed Brandon Cooks, 32-year-old Brandon Cooks, to your team because you need help at wide receiver because you didn't draft any.
Hey, I swear for a couple things here, because you just did a great job of outlining the Bills in a nutshell heading into Week 13. First and foremost, it's like looking or listening to a Steeler fan right now. Like, that's exactly what it is. I mean, people want Mike Tomlin gone. These guys can't coordinate to save their life. The Terrell Austin defensive coordinator, he couldn't scheme his way out of a wet paper bag. Like, you hear it all. Welcome to, when are we going to turn into the 2025 NFL team that most other teams already have? I totally understand your frustration. These two teams right now, it feels combustible. The way you talk, the way Steeler fans are talking right now, it feels combustible. And so I want to get your thoughts on this game this Sunday. 4:25. It's basically going to be a nationally televised game. Romo and Nance on the call. And right now, the Steelers are getting 3.5 points, depending on the book you're looking at. 3.5 points. The total is like 47.5, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, 47.5. What do you think? I don't need a score prediction. What do you think about this game on Sunday? How do you see it playing out?
So I think this is going to be a close game. Aaron Rodgers, I believe, is playing this week, right?
I would put money that he does, but Mike Tomlin's going to keep those cards close to his vest all week.
I I think that it's going to be a close game. So both teams are fighting for their playoff lives almost to a point. And I think this is going to say a lot for Josh Allen and the Bills. I think that they have a slight advantage because they did play Thursday night the week before. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit more of a rest between that game and this game. I mean, they're feeling the pressure. I mean, they have a ton of pressure on them. Whereas, the week before, they're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, man. Like they'll come out, they'll beat the Chiefs, and then they'll lose to the Dolphins. Like, what is this team?
Yeah.
So the Bills could like lose to the Texans, and then they could light up the Steelers. I have no idea. I think it's going to be a close game. I could see the Bills pulling this one off because of all the reasons I just mentioned. I think heads will roll very soon. I think the seat is getting hot for certain members there. I don't think anyone will be fired before the end of the season necessarily. But I mean, if Joe Brady's looking to become the next Penn State head coach or the next, head coach of another team in the NFL, he better get his crap together because nobody's going to want to hire him if he's got one of the most predictable offenses in the NFL. I mean, we watch teams go in and out every single week. And not even like the Sean McVay Rams, which look great, right? Like they have great motion, they disguise things well. Not just looking at that, just like regular offenses. You're like, oh, that guy was open. Like, why was that so hard to scheme for the Buffalo Bills? Like, that's insane. Like a guy drops back and there's at least one guy open, So, but yeah, I see them because I mean, if they don't pull this off, then they really, push themselves a lot further down in the AFC playoff run with the playoff standings. And I think the wheels could fall off if they don't win this next game.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And, it's something where there's a chance that we might be talking again this year, depending on how the AFC playoff picture plays out. So I want you to enjoy the game. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. I want to give you an opportunity to plug your podcast, social media handles, anything else that you like to do. I'll let you do that now.
No, thanks, Jeff. Love talking to you, man. Whenever I get a chance, this has been a fun season. Our podcast is anywhere that you listen to Apple, Spotify. We're on YouTube now. We just finally got there. We're part of the Buffalo Fan Base Podcast Network, which is like the official Bills Mafia podcast network. So you can find us through there. And then also, like I mentioned, the audio feeds and on social media, anywhere social media, we're at CTW Pod, which is like Circling the Wagons Pod, CTW Pod, and find us there. We don't promote a ton of our podcast on social media sites. It's mostly just memes and fun stuff like that, fun thoughts like that. But it's all just to drive the conversation. I mean, I love listening to Bills fans and getting their standpoint on things that make sense, things that challenge me to think outside the box for, why this team is the way it is. Why are we struggling? Why are we doing well? Just all those items. So no, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Enjoy the game. And like I said, we might be in touch in a couple weeks. Hey, take it easy.
You too.
See ya.